want to welcome everybody tonight to another Zat Hashem important and spiritual and motivational class. Tonight is also an auspicious night. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh Av. Rosh Chodesh Av, as we know, when Av begins, we have to temper down ourselves in regards to joy and happiness. But at the same time, with that tempering down of joy and happiness, as we know, Simcha doesn't really stop, right? We have to be b'simcha always. It's just toning down really and being more cognizant and conscious of the fact that we lost the Beit HaMikdash and the fact that we don't have that incredible closest to Hashem that was given to us as we know. But yet, at the same time, we can achieve many things since that time of the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash that today is still palpable for all of us. We can still get close to Hashem. And I think it's apropos that because of that, we're right, it's pure coincidence of learning about Eretz Yisrael, where the temple obviously was. And today's also, because it's Rosh Chodesh Av, one of the ways I feel is the remedy, the rectification for the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, as we know, was because of Sinat Chinam, which means baseless hatred. There's baseless hatred between all of Am Yisrael. And we know that even though that's the case, we find that on a day like today, Rosh Chodesh, which is a day that Hashem also gets rid of our sins, it's also the yahrzeit of Aharon HaKohen. Aharon HaKohen, guys, is tonight's yahrzeit. So all Kohanim out there should be really connected to Hashem. Should probably light a candle. And we should pray that this Chut Tzaddik of Aharon, we should intercede for us in Shemayim and pray for that all of Am Yisrael. Aharon represented love. He represented peace. He represented unity. This is what he represented. That's literally the fixing of why the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. So it's apropos that we should, Zat Hashem, be learning tonight's Torah. I'm saying, it is what it is, but it's really happening. We're going to be learning this in honor of Aharon HaKohen. His neshama have an aliyah. It's quite fun American. I also want to thank tonight's class sponsors. We have two sponsors tonight, Baruch Hashem. Kiva ben Pinchas Avram. What a beautiful name. Kiva Pinchas Avram. All tzaddikim. In memory of his parents, Pinchas Abraham ben David and Sarah bat Herschel Yaakov, Zichrono Lebracha, may their neshamas have an aliyah b'zchut the Torah we're learning tonight. And we're also, tonight's sponsorship is from Clara and David Barman. In memory of the yahrzeit of Devorah bat Eliyahu, Zichrono Lebracha, who was a dear friend of Clara's. And what people don't realize and don't know is that this is a person that probably nobody in the world today may be even commemorating her. But you know what? This holy Torah will stand by her, Bezrat Hashem, and will give her a massive aliyah in Shemayim. And you should know that her neshama, by me saying it right now, is here with us right now. Baruch Hashem. So Hashem should give you guys, all you guys, both for sponsoring the class, should give you lives, answer all your prayers. Bezrat Hashem. And all these neshamas should have an aliyah b'zchut the Torah. We're learning a holy Torah of Rabbi Nachman. So continuing on from the first class from last week, we learned, and I'm going to repeat it again, the main topic we spoke about was Eretz Yisrael, the land of Eretz Yisrael. And we start off, as was brought down from before, he says like this. Every day of his life, a person should yearn, pray, and make practical steps to live in Eretz Yisrael, or at the very least, to walk 4 steps there. Through this, one merits increased patience, the ability to advance from level to level, and to draw upon himself comprehensive holiness. And this is the essence of a person's holy victory in this world. I didn't get to say this last week, but I thought about it. It's very cute. Like literally the day after the class, I'm like, God, that's such a good line. And the line is like this. What did I say last week? We said specifically that a person, Rabbi Nachman says, we said at the end of last week's class, that a person who makes it to Eretz Yisrael, he is like a warrior. He won the battle. He made it there. And what did Eretz Yisrael, as we spoke about, represented? It represented the concept of emunah, of faith, as we learned that from all the previous tzaddikim, the amount of emunah and faith a person needed to get in there. So you need to be a warrior, not a warrior. Warrior. Say that right?
Yeah.
Right? Which is the complete opposite of emunah and faith. A warrior equals emunah, faith, Eretz Yisrael. Warrior is the complete opposite. I don't trust. I don't know. I'm always worried. That was really cool. Hashem makes a play on words. Really fun sometimes. Now, with that being said, let me share my screen with all you guys here. And this is not the best way to share. Hold on. Give me a second. Sorry. Awesome. Speed is not so fast. It's tough to make this move, but it's okay. We'll get it open. Here we go. I got it. It's open. Let's wrap the Shem. Yeah, it's like really slow to download.
It's not gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a hard time downloading anything.
Okay. All good. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Almost there. Huh?
Yes.
Thank you. Today, I also just want to let you guys know, we are, in comparison to the last class, as you guys know, many from before know me, we have a lot of Likutei Moharan classes straight up. We learn going straight up Likutei Moharan classes. And in these classes, I kind of give you like little snippets, like it was giving you really, really small snippets. Today, we're actually going to be learning 3 different chapters of Likutei Moharan, which is a big treat for me personally, because I get back into it. I love it. And at the same time, they're all really amazing ideas and concepts that some people may have not heard yet, that are going to be like, what? That's an unbelievable statement, what you just said, because Rabbi Nachman is really just wow. Just wow. Okay. Here we go. All right. We're good. We're good here. All right. For you guys online, here we go. You have the screen in front of you. All right. Let's begin. Guys, so we are now going inside of Eretz Yisrael, right? We finished last week speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu. We spoke about getting in. We're about to get in. What's next? We begin now the concept of the times of Yehoshua. Yehoshua ben Nun, the predecessor, the person who came right after Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, take a look at this. Take a look at this concept from Yehoshua. It goes like this. This is very important because we're going to start off the class with this. And God spoke to Yehoshua. Wherever you tread is going to be given to you. No one's going to be able to stand up to you. You have to be strong and courageous, chazak ve'ematz, to observe and to do according to the Torah that Moshe, my servant, commanded you. Why? In order that you may succeed wherever you go. And here is the big kicker, guys. Let not the Torah be removed. The word removed means gamush, from your mouth. Study it day and night. What's going to happen when you learn Torah and you study it day and night? You will succeed. So before we said emunah, we spoke about faith, we spoke about the covenant. These are like things that were like preliminary. Now Joshua's going into the land, and God's like, you want to be successful? You need to be sure that everybody's learning Torah. That's part of the key to acquiring Eretz Yisrael. So success in conquering the land equals observance of the Torah. So with that being said, let's bring in a chapter of Rabbi Nachman, chapter 20, Likutei Moharan. And take a look at this because this is unbelievable Torah. Look what Rabbi Nachman says. So first of all, you see here that it says like this. There's a pasuk that says, "Vayiten lachem artzot goim ve'amal yomim yirashu." For the sake of the Torah, you merit the land of Israel. Pasuk from Tehillim, and he gave them the lands of the Gentiles in order they observe the Torah. There's two specific psukim from their different areas. For the sake of the Torah, we merit the land of Israel, and he gave them the lands of the Gentiles. He gave them the land of Canaan in order, why? That they observe his Torah. That's from David HaMelech. Very clear, right? The land of Israel, as we know, we spoke about it, is one that is one of the three things that we acquire through suffering. Does anybody remember from last week's class? What else does it take that we can get through suffering? This is a very famous Masechet Brachot. Anybody? Come on. Last week we spoke about this. We acquire through suffering Torah learning, Olam Haba, and Eretz Yisrael. These are the big three. Rabbi Nachman talks about this idea that the suffering, where does the suffering comes from? It comes from, he calls them the detractors, these wicked people. Who are the wicked people? In this case, the people that brought a bad report about the land. When Moshe sends the spies, these guys are bad, they're considered wicked people. How do you subdue them? How do you get rid of these people? How do you punish them? It says with the sword and with death. Once you get rid of these wicked people, listen to this, then you can go to the land of Israel. Now look what Rabbi Nachman says. This is unbelievable. This is from Likutei Moharan, chapter 20, section 7. You guys can follow along here in English. V'da, you should know, she'ayudei kochot haruchaniot hanibraim meotiot Torah shechidesh, the spiritual forces which are created from the letters of the Torah originated by a sage. So if, let's say, for example, a rabbi comes up with a new conceptual concept in Torah, hakochot ha'elu hen melachim mamish. They are literally bona fide angels with you. When you recite that Torah, they create angels. And they receive the power from Edom meaning Esav, because Esav represents the sword. He lives and dies by that sword, that's Esav, in order to punish the wicked people. The Hani Brian Bechinat, and he says, this is the concept of, and he gives you a pasuk from Tehillim. Hashem iten omer hamebasrot tzavara, which means what? The Lord gives the word, the heralds, which are angels, are a mighty host. Which means what? That pasuk is telling you specifically, Hashem speaks, angels come out, they fight for you. The hen manishin et harishayim, and what do they do with that? Then these angels, they punish the wicked. The bechinat ki malachav yitzavelach, and he brings you a pasuk that he says he will charge his angels on your behalf. That's the famous pasuk that they said for Yaakov Avinu, that the angels are going to protect him when he goes into Eretz Yisrael. They're going to fight for you, these angels. Ki malachav yitzavelach. Al shachava fetzen tiroch. Upon the lion and the viper, you're going to tread, meaning you're going to stomp all over them. So first thing that Rabbi Nachman is saying is very deep. When we're learning Torah, we are literally creating angels. And these angels specifically are meant to what? Fight these wicked people, these people that are the ones that are going, so to speak, against, it's called the Jewish people for this sake. Why is that important? We're going to find out very soon. Rabbi Nachman continues and on that, and he says like this. The Elo HaKoho Ruchaniyo, and these special forces, these angels, Hainu HaMalachim, these angels, Hen Lefi HaChitchatshu the Torah. Depending on the renewal of the Torah, depending how deep that Torah is, the HaChitchatshu the Torah, Lefi HaKedusha Shinitosef Lemala. That depending how big that Torah is the holiness that is added above. Lefi Rabot HaKedusha Kenimshach Ribuya Torah. The more the holiness, the more the Torah is drawn down. with the fi Rob Torah and Ribuya Malachim. And therefore that means that the deeper the Torah that is learned, the more the numerous the angels are coming down to defend, to represent. And they says the opposite is true. There's times when the level of holiness, the Torah is okay. It's okay. It's nothing like, oh my God. It's so inferior. It's not so big, not so strong that the angels created from the Torah are weak. He makes like little puny angels, not such strong ones. And because of that, they lack the ability to receive that power. They can't even punish the weak people because these angels are like puny guys. So just so you know, in Shemayim, we have the really strong angels with the muscles, quote unquote, and you have the angels that are not so strong. They get pushed around. I don't know. In my mind, I'm just trying to picture like, okay. Anyways, so they're not strong enough to deal with these wicked people. And they only have the strength to subdue the wicked and bring them fear into hearts. What we're going to do is the angels they're not going to hurt them. They're going to get them a little scared. That's what these angels are going to do. But not to punish them with the sword and limit them entirely. Okay. Very interesting. Now, we see something very fascinating. We see that the Torah that's learned creates angels. These angels go out and they fight for you. They fight for Am Yisrael, right? Take a look at Yalkut Shimoni, Isaiah. Also, we learned this in the Bava Batra. Like Yalkut Shimoni, for those who know, is Midrash. Look what it says. According to our sages, the power of Israel is not to be found in the strength or the ability to wage war. I have news for you, news flash. I could care less if Israel has all the nuclear bombs in the world. That's not why we're going to win. It's not why we're going to win. But solely in their study of Torah and prayers. That's how we're going to win. Before going into battle, God tells them, you got to study Torah and pray. That's why Yehoshua's strength, God was very clear with him. As we're going to see right now in the next pasuk, his strength against the enemy wasn't his battalion, wasn't the swords, but it came from what? His mouth. We're going to learn a little bit about the mouth later on, but the mouth represents what? Torah and prayer. Take a look at what God commands him. And then Rabbi Nachman's going to go and we're going to talk about another chapter with the Moharan. Look at the pasuk. Lo yamush sefer haTorah hazeh mipicha. Do not let the book of the teaching, the Torah, cease from your lips. Don't stop learning from the book. The Hagita bo yomam balayla, recite it day and night. This is coming from Hashem to Yehoshua. Why? Leman tishmor lasot kekol hakatuv bo, ki as tatzliach et darachecha as taskil. Take the Torah, recite it day and night. Why? So you can observe it faithfully with emunah, everything that's inside of it, and only then are you going to prosper in everything you do, and then you're going to be successful. Oh, guys, I hope one person from the IDF is watching this class. Just saying. The generals should be watching this class. I'm sure the rabbis are speaking to the generals in the IDF. And I can tell you right now, Lubavitcher Rebbe, we have contact with also a lot of high-level lieutenants and all that. I'm sure told them the same thing. The question is, are they listening? Between me and you, when I was just in Eretz Yisrael right now, it's beautiful to see, right? They have the different groups in the IDF. A lot of them will come from the religious groups, right? They're coming from the payas, the whole 9 yards. And guess what? They take it seriously. They're learning Torah. They have hours to develop the Torah. And then after that, they're out in the field, battling, fighting, preparing, whatever they're doing in the army, right? Nutella sandwiches, whatever, That was a joke, by the way. IDF eats Nutella sandwiches. I'm not going to tell you about my experience with the IDF. I'm just telling you to eat Nutella sandwiches. That's what they eat. Okay. Now, with that being said, look at Rabbi Nachman says. Rabbi Nachman takes this pasuk. Lo yamush sefer Torah. Take a look up here. We're going to literally going to learn one little beautiful chapter of Likutei Moharan, 110. You guys ready? Look at this, guys. Beautiful. So excited because I haven't learned Likutei Moharan in a while. Here we go. You ready? Rabbi Nachman begins chapter 110. Likutei Maharani says, "Lo yamush sefer haTorah hazeh mipicha," which means what? Don't ever let this book of the Torah from your mouth. You guys see it? Everybody have it in front of you? Guys, you should have all your flyers. It should be, show me, everybody show them. Everything is all there for you. All the text is there. Okay, take a look at this.
Second page.
Rabbi Nachman says like this. Ki haTorah hi ruchaniyot. The Torah is something spiritual. Ve'asher yashar pa'ala. A person whose deeds are pure, v'sichlo ruchani, and he's an upright person, and he's a person who's intellectually spiritual. Yachol litpos kol haTorah kula. He's able to grasp the entire Torah. V'lo ishkach davar, and he will not forget one thing. A person who's totally spiritual, not quote unquote physical. He's so immersed in spirituality, he won't forget anything of the Torah. Why? Why is that? Because the thing that's spiritual, listen to this concept. David, you're a teacher, right? You teach stuff. Whatever that is. What do you teach? What do you teach?
Business law.
Business law. Perfect example, right? Look what Rabbi Nachman says. He's saying that something is spiritual doesn't take up head space in your brain. However, and the Torah can expand and reside in its intellect. Why? Because Torah is spiritual. It doesn't take up space. Business law takes up space. That's why I might forget what David taught me last night.
What does that mean, take up space? It gives space?
It's physical. It's a physical concept. Torah is from a different planet. It's not even, it's from Hashem. Hashem is unity. Once you go above and beyond, remember, Torah was even created before the world was even created. Torah is something so spiritual that it has no set, quote unquote, of physicality. So therefore, hypothetically speaking, a person who creates and makes himself a vessel to be able to receive Torah on that level can literally remember everything. And we find that there are many high-level tzaddikim that will like spit out to you the whole Torah, right?
It's easier to download.
It's easier to download. Excellent. Rabbi Nachman continues and he says, but somebody who actually puts inside of the Torah, and you take these words of the Torah and you make it into something palpable, something physical, as yesh la shiur v'kitzba. So he says, when you make it physical, then there's like a measure and a limit to how much a person can grasp in his intellect. And so if he wants to perceive more and more, whatever that Torah is, then that which he has already entered his intellect is pushed out. So I can hypothetically, I'm just saying it for an example. I hope you guys remember every word I say tonight. But I'm just saying, if you take a Torah and you make it into something more of a physical, because I'm learning it. This is a very bad example, but I'm going to say it as it is. I can be going to a Torah class that I'm being graded on. Yes? It's a class. I have to pass. I'm going to take the class. Am I learning it because it's so geschmack that I'm like, this is amazing. Oh my God, Hashem's Torah is the best thing in the whole world. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Or am I learning, okay, I have to get the grade on the A, and then like, oh my God, what's against? It's a physical act. It's not letting it simmer within yourself. It's not a spiritual learning. It's not learning because I love, because I like. It's because I have to. And it's a subject and it's nice and it's like, okay. So people go to college, okay, it's nice, right? It's a different type of a learning. So Rabbi Nachman says, if you're going to do it like that, it's like anything physical. If someone's already full, what happens? Meaning, you have something in your stomach. It's like, I don't know, whatever. I guess you want to look at it like that. You eat food. If you're full, you keep filling it up more. What happens? You're going to have to wait till the food comes out for you to fill out more, because that's not good either. Whatever comes in, comes out. You want to put in more, more has to come out. It's not a spiritual learning. It's all physical. So based on this idea, look what Rabbi Nathan says. Such a good, it's amazing. Now look what he's going. Now he's going to that pasuk that we spoke about, that Hashem says to Yehoshua. Lo yamush serhat. Do not stop learning this book of the Torah. Lo yamush serhat. Do not forget it. Do not stop from it. What does Rabbi Nachman say on the word yamush? Yamush, milashon mamashut. Yamush, if you could see the word yamush, it has the same wording as the word mamashut, the same root word. When you have two same root words, we can connect one to the other. What does the word yamush, which is connected to mamashut, what does mamashut mean? Mamashut means, the word here they use is palpability. What does palpability mean? Take a look at this pasuk and I'm going to explain to you what palpability means. Moshe Katuv, Vayamesh Choshech. What was that? That the darkness was palpable. What does that even mean? It means that when there was the plague of the darkness in Egypt, it says that darkness was Vayamesh, same word as Yamush, Mamashut. It was palpable. I can feel the darkness. It was a physical dark. It wasn't just like I'm like, well, I can feel the darkness. It's a crazy feeling to understand what it felt like. But that's what it was. It was palpable. It was physical. Here's the key word that Rabbi Nachman is going to say to you. He's trying to show you that word yamush. Yamush means what? Physical. Physicality. That means to say, look at the pasuk again now. Yamush equals physicality. How did you get to yamush being physicality? I'll explain to you again. Yamush comes from the same word as mamashut. Mamashut, as we know, is physicality. He brings you a pasuk to support that. The pasuk was by Yamesh Choshech. What was Yamesh Moshe? The darkness was palpable, it was physical. Rabbi Nachman says, you see how Yamesh means physical? Lo Yamush. Guys, Yamush means physical. Therefore, he says, take care that there's no physicality. And the word he likes to use is corporal reality, which means physicality in the words of the Torah. Lo Yamush Sefer HaTorah. Don't make the Torah physical. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Lo Yamush, Yamush is physical, Sefer HaTorah. Don't make the Torah a physical thing. It should be a loud, spiritual thing. How do you make it physical?
It's given to us in tablets.
We spoke about it.
Tablet.
Yes, that is correct. But we also know that these tablets were like see-through. There's crazy descriptions of really what these tablets look like, and that you could see from one end to the other, and the letters were piercing through. It's like, oh, not even from this world. Tablets. How did you make Torah? You asked the question. How do you make it physical? We were just learning before that if you take Torah learning and it becomes more of like, it's not about, I said like a class. I'm going to a class because I'm going to be graded on it. Like, it's not meaningful. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not learning because I love Hashem and I just want to learn your Torah and I just want to be close to you. That's learning spirituality. Not because, or like, my friend's going, so I'm going to go hang out. Right. Again, you have excuses, you're putting up fronts. It's not all about that.
Anything other than the spiritual intellectuality and stuff.
I'm going to the Torah class to have sushi tonight. Have I heard that one before? Huh? The intention is very important, of course. Now, with that pasuk, look at the pasuk again. Lo yamush sefer Torah hazeh mipicha. See that? Mipicha. Rabbi Nachman says on mipicha. He says, I'm sorry for the guys who are following online. I got you here. Mipicha kalamar mechamat pia. In other words, because of your mouth. What do you mean for your mouth? Which means what? Take care that which comes from your mouth that it does not contain, contains corporeality. Which, what does that mean? This is an unbelievable idea. So Rab Nassan of Breslover says something amazing. He says, what do you mean? He's saying that make sure, see, she's saying we have something back that's saying basically that the words that a person says can come true. In this case specifically,
Put out in the air.
correct. Now, but what Nachman's saying here is, and Rav Nosson explains it, is regarding your mouth, meaning when you're using your mouth, use your mouth for things that deal specifically with Torah. If you're using your mouth for, like, again, and I want to say very sensitively, a person who's using their mouth to fulfill only their, let's say, physicalities instead of your spirituality, or using your mouth for saying bad words or lashon hara, or right, then you're not connected to the mouth that should be speaking words of Torah and praying to Hashem, etc. So therefore, that's one idea. Rabbi Nachman says like this, and this is awesome. Look what he says. This is what our sages taught us in Bava Metzia and the Gemara. Shehid ane Rabbi Yosef arba'im yom shidkayim limudo. Rabbi Yosef, big tzaddik, he fasted for 40 days so that his studies should endure. Meaning he fasted, think about it, he fasted for 40 days so that he should be able to remember and it stay in his mind. Why would you fast for 40 days? We're going back to that concept. If I fast, what happens when I'm fasting? I'm staying away from physical and I'm focusing on my spiritual. So fasting is good. Having a fast day is a good thing. It's a reset button on a nice physical level, but really it's very good for your neshama. Right? That's why tzaddikim used to fast from Sunday to Thursday.
Unlike somebody at night, though, right?
There's
in the daytime,
there is a concept like that. There's some literally tzaddikim didn't eat anything. Literally nothing. Maybe they had some water. What?
Makes you humble.
It makes you humble? Sure.
When you fast, I'll get you angry.
Right. So, and then we have a good point. It also makes you hangry. So the question is, it makes you hangry. The question is, if it's making you hangry, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are our neshama? It's a testing tube, right? Okay. We got a lot of concepts. We got to move.
Yeah.
So Rabbi Nachman then basically says on that, Lo yamush mipicha. Again, of him it's declared. It says it in the book of Isaiah. Of him they declared, it shall not cease from your mouth. What does that mean? V'shubit anam, v'chulu, achavule. He again, what happened? He says he again fasted 40 days, and then they declared, now from the mouth you receive. He fasted for 40 days, and they said to Rabbi Yosef, because you fasted for 40 days, it shall not, that the Torah should not cease from your mouth. He fasted another 40 days, and then he says the Torah should be from the mouth of your seed, from your kids, from your grandchildren, and on and on. Basically, he's saying that it should not yamush become palpable. It should not be something physical and become something that's from your mouth. From your mouth represents the concept of physicality. And that's what happens. That's why he literally did it, so he could remember his studies, because he wasn't connecting to the physical part of your mouth. Because a spiritual thing does not take up any space. And Rabbi Nachman says, consider the matter well. Think about what I just said, Rabbi Nachman said. Think about it. I put here an incredible Likutei Halachot from Rav Nosson of Breslover. Amazing. This is so deep. Again, I love this stuff because it's so deep. Look what he writes. Rav Nosson writes, in the Garden of Eden, you guys can see it there, it's on your text. Adam transcended the concept of space, right? So we have Adam is literally a ball of light. He's not even a human being in the beginning. He hasn't had skin. We're not even there yet. Adam was literally just pure light. That's what he was. Okay? So it says on a spiritual level, the Torah was his garment of or. Or with an aleph means light. The Torah was his garment of light. But when Adam sinned, and when because he sinned, he was exiled from the Garden of Eden, what happened? He had to wear different type of garments. It says that the garment he was wearing, you have a package or no, you're good, yeah? He had a garment of or, not or with an aleph. He had an or with an ayin. What does an or with an ayin mean? Skin, leather, or like skin. Like he had like a leathery complexion or a skin. That's what happened when he ate from the tree of knowledge. That's when he's saying. The spirituality, that light, was replaced by skins. Skins means what? Physical. Yeah? Physicality. That's why, and listen to why Rav Nosson says, it's amazing. Kind of hanging on what you said a little bit. This is why a Torah scroll must be written specifically upon the skins of a kosher animal. The skins of a kosher animal. Why? We try to impart Torah upon the skins, upon physical space. We're trying to put something spiritual on top of something physical, and thereby elevate man to a spiritual level. So if it's a deep concept from the Likutei Halachot, if we take Torah, which is spiritual, which has no physicality, and we're trying to do rectifications, and we know that Adam went from light to skin. Why? Through the Torah that was wrapped around him. If that's the case, then think about the concept that we have to put spirituality, Torah, something that has no physicality. What do we put it on? Out of all things, animal skin. Animal skin.
It's not a downgrade.
It's an upgrade for us. It's to show us that we can upgrade instead of a downgrade. We're trying to uplift us. I think it's a beautiful idea Rav Nosson bringing out. So with that, take a look at the next slides. We're moving on along, guys.
It's just to be clear, before Adam and Eve sinned, they were just light. They didn't have bodies. Is that right?
Correct. They were just light. Well, Adam was just light for sure. Eve came later. She was technically came out through him, but it's literally the moment that they ate from that even then they have skin. And as we're going to learn right now, later on, they're like, oh, wait, you're naked. Well, what's going on? They didn't know that before, right? We'll get there. We'll get there. Again, so you see something very interesting. This is why this is so key. Look at the Rabbi Nachman just went into town talking about Torah and spirituality, and the Torah makes angels and they fight for you. Look at this. Let not the Torah be removed from your mouth. What does that mean? The success of the war is dependent upon the mouth, aka your Torah learning, right? Rabbi Nachman uses the word yamush. Yamush was the concept of material. We spoke about it, material. Yehoshua was advised not to allow the Torah, the spiritual, to become material. He had to encourage both himself and his people to retain his spirituality. Rabbi Nachman's showing you from this pasuk through two different Torahs in Likutei Maharan, showing you how at the end of the day, God's telling Yehoshua two things. Number one, you want to fight in the war, learn Torah. Why? Because I don't want you to be material. The moment you get into materiality, in the sense of that keeps you completely away from spiritual, and we're going to talk about next about materiality, because there's a little bit of a difference as we're going to learn right now, something nobody really talks about, which is amazing. The moment you get into materiality, not good, get out, because you know what's going to happen? It's going to lead to idolatry. It's going to lead to a lot of other things that take you away from Hashem. Stay spiritual, stay focused. You learn Torah, angels will fight for you. You're going to win all your battles. You're taking over Eretz Yisrael. You don't have nothing to worry about. I'm with you. But the key to take over the land, you got to learn Torah day and night, and you tell your people that. By the way, just a lesson in life for all of us. Whatever it takes, learning Torah is the key to success. Learning Torah is the key to success in all aspects of life. So, because learning Torah is one of the mechanisms that brings tremendous amount of bracha and blessing across the board. Now, the question is going to be, well, Michael, how often? What does that look like to me? What am I learning? Right? There's a lot of questions. We can discuss that post, but yeah. So the question that was asked, I'm just making translations here. The question that was asked was, is the best time to learn Torah in the middle of the night? And the answer, as we've learned several times, Rabbi Nachman talks about it again, learning Torah during Chatzot would be the highest, holiest, most spiritual time to learn Torah. Doesn't mean that if you can't learn Chatzot, doesn't mean you shouldn't learn. You should be learning all day long. It just happens to be the nicest airtime, space time. But if you're too tired and it's not going to work out, you shouldn't be doing that and try to focus on.
Saying full time, you're out of it and you're doing it. You're not
Right.
doing it.
Potentially or not, or you may be so.
Night owl, then great.
Yeah, but there's other people that push themselves, and next thing you know, they feel the energy and it's good. So there's the other side to the coin. You have to push, you have to try. Yes.
You don't want to then get but the tequila, I've heard that tequila is better like to have on stuff during the day and not so much.
Yeah, I'm saying-
Not to say that you shouldn't do to have on song at night, but I've heard that the tequila is better than the day.
In the day, yes. When we say night, the first part of the night is not known as the best part of the day. It's where all the klipot and the evil spirits come out. The second half of the night is the best time to do everything. It's mega power hour. Yeah, after halachic midnight.
Oh, okay, so.
So like today, like right now, we're talking about as of like 3:30 in the morning now,
Okay.
around that time frame. Yes.
If you don't
You can,
sleep,
if somebody's has for shalom, if somebody, you ask me a question, Tehillim at nighttime, guys. If somebody wants to say Tehillim at nighttime, you're more than welcome to say it. If somebody's sick, if there's something going on, it's serious, you do it,
No, but it's like.
but it's not the best.
It's better to do it during the day.
Yeah. So again, that's the lesson we have to learn from that. And that again is important because you see how Torah learning creates angels that fight for you, right? And that's how they were able to win their battles. Because they learned Torah, the angels fought for them and they won. Now, take a look at this. I'm showing you proofs left and right. You see Rashi? Okay, take a look at your text, guys. In Deuteronomy and Devarim. Take a look at this. Look at Rashi. There's a pasuk that says, what page? We have our page director here on the right. No. Yes, we have to discuss that. Okay. Yes. Here we go. So we have this concept that there's a part of the pasuk that says, go in and possess the land. What does Rashi say on that? Rashi says, there's no one who's going to contest the matter, and you won't need to wage war. You're not even going to have to fight anybody. Indeed, and look what Rashi says. Had they not sent the spies, remember, the spies represents the wicked people. Wicked people. And they would have just trusted in God's promise. They wouldn't have to need any weapons of war or nothing. They would have just gone in. But these wicked people messed it all up. And because of that, fine. They lowered themselves. So I put it here for the notes for you guys. Bnei Israel, they lowered themselves to the level of holiness. And guess what? They lost the power, the protection, so to speak, of the angels at that time. And they had to do, instead of the angels fighting for you, doing everything, now they have to go with armed warfare, right? But when God tells Yehoshua, okay, guys, learn Torah, because this is what we're going to do to protect you, then these angels came in with them and fought with them and won. Okay? Amazing idea. Again, now moving forward, look at this. We're just going through history right now, but we're going really deep. Yehoshua is now coming in. I'm going into Eretz Yisrael. It's a very famous scene. They get to a river, the Jordan River. Okay, and this is an incredible, miraculous scene that happens. And they get to the river, and the river has been overflowing. The Jordan River is absolutely overflowing. There's no way they're going to cross. They have to cross this river to get to Eretz Yisrael. So what happens? They walk with the tabernacle, which has in it the commandments. The commandments, as we know, represents the Torah. They literally walk in. You can see a nice little picture that's kind of broken off in half. You see the picture, you see them walking in. The rivers, it says the river stood like a wall, and they literally go and they walk through the river. Like a mini Kriya Yams.
Why was it like such a big deal?
It is, it's talked about. It is talked about. And you know what happened when that happened? Look at the pasuk from Yehoshua, from the book of Yehoshua.
Hay una parte que es sobre el éxodo, o sea, no vamos a estudiar el éxodo, pero dicen muchos principios. O sea, ahí dicen que la dirección de que estamos tan libres, que no se para todo el.
Yes. We don't believe, yeah, but so we don't, yeah. So she's talking about that there's a lot of.
El museo de estos tiempos,
Sí.
que se encuentran unas piedras que describen perfectamente
Right. So she's bringing about that she was watching some sort of like a documentary or something, a show, whatever it is, that says specifically that on the rocks near that specific area where the Jordan River they walk, it's documented in their thing exactly what they're talking about. This river opening up like a wall. Now look what happened. They get remember. I want to say it clear because why am I bringing this up? The Torah is walking with them. The Torah representing angels, whatever you want to call that, representing. Look what happens in the book. I figure a pasuk from the book of Yeshua. When all the kings of the Amorites on the western side of the Jordan and all the kings of Canaanites near the sea, when they heard how God had dried up the waters of the Jordan for the sake of the Israelites until they crossed over, they lost heart and no spirit was left in them because of the Israelites. They're freaking out. We're never going to beat these guys. Why? Because they have the Torah. Then what happens? They get in the famous story with Jericho. You guys know about Jericho? Yeshua circles the walls of Jericho with everybody else. They're blowing the shofar for 7 days. Okay? The famous story we see, again, they have their tabernacle with them. The Torah is with them. On the seventh day, they go around 7 times. They do on the 7th day 7 times, and the walls of Jericho just crumble down. Miracles after miracles. Hashem's taking over. They're taking over everything. Beautiful. Now, with that being said, take a look now. We're going to go a little side tangent about the beautiful aspect about the fruits of the land of Eretz Yisrael and why this is going to be connected to another concept and idea Rabbi Nachman is going to talk about. Take a look at this. Once the Jewish people got into Eretz Yisrael, and now they spread up, and now you take this side, and all the tribes are taking their specific land, okay? And they're learning Torah, and they're connected to Hashem, and Hashem is completely, imagine like the beginning of Eretz Yisrael. It's amazing. People are following the laws. Hashem is with the Jewish people. Everything's great. Look what's going on. Look what the Gemara says. The Talmud describes the produce at the time of Rabbi Shimon ben Shetach. Later on, when the kernels of wheat were the size of kidneys. You guys know what wheat looks like? They were the size of kidneys. Maybe like this. I don't know. No, maybe that. Kernels of barley, the size of olive pits. That's just from the Masechet Ta'anit, meaning they were much bigger than normal, right? Here it says from Masechet Ketuvot in the Gemara that a fox nested in a turnip and removed much of it, but the turnip still weighed 60 kilo, meaning turnips are not like, it was so big, a fox literally, let's say, removed a part of it. It was still massive. Goats, this is another pasuk from Ketuvot, goats grazed under fig trees. Honey dripped from the figs and the milk flowed from the goats, literally making it a land flowing with milk and honey. That's where it comes from. And it filled an area of some 16 square miles, just like dates and like goat milk everywhere. There's so much abundance. Another example, the sages recall that an area measuring 5,600 square feet would produce 350,000 bushels of crops. So I'm not a farmer. I just know real estate. 5,600 square feet. I'm thinking about like, okay, that's a house that's nice size, land that's whatever. I can assume that 5,600 square feet does not produce 350,000 bushels of crops, but that's how big it was then. I don't know enough about it and what it looks like in today's terms. I didn't do that enough research yet. Now, that being said, you can see how unbelievable the agricultural produce of the land was. And what did that lead to? This is a key point, guys. It contributed to wealth. People had money now. They had money. What? When you have agriculture that's booming, right? And everybody was, that's the business, right? That was the business back in the day. How else did they get rich? Look at this, guys. So smart, these Canaanites. Before the Jewish people are in the desert, the Canaanites here, oh, they're coming into Eretz Yisrael. What did they do? Oh, we're not going to let them take over our houses. Let's just literally burn all our houses. The Canaanites, this is in Vayikra, this is in the Midrash. They burned down all their homes so that the Jews, when they come in, ain't got no homes. Nice people, huh? Yeah. You know what happened? They're like, Well, remember, the Jewish people were supposed to walk into Eretz Yisrael. It was supposed to be a quick thing. They ended up staying for 40 years. And they're like, oh, these guys aren't coming. Whatever, let's build our houses again, right? So they rebuilt their homes, which are now new homes, right? Real estate, new homes. Ah, it's more expensive. Yeah? And the Jewish people came in and took over those homes. So they actually had much better homes to come into, nicer homes. So you see here that the land promoted a tremendous amount of trade, commerce. They had a lot of wealth. They had a lot of money. And with all that wealth, Hashem's complete dominance, providence was everywhere. It's like the best case scenario possible, so to speak. Now look at this. Rabbi Nachman's going to tell you something amazing. But look at this idea, and it's a very deep idea. And it might, in the beginning, sound a little bit different than other times I've spoken about physicality. Rabbi Nachman says that understanding of God can be attained. And I want to say very clear, what does understanding of God even mean? When one is financially secure. There's a pasuk that says in Pirkei Avot, if there's no bread, there is no Torah. If ain't kemach, ain't Torah. Now we know, we take that and go, well, of course, you have to provide for the people that are learning Torah. That's the right thing to do. You have to have both. But listen to it again. If you ain't got no bread, you ain't going to have no Torah. Rabbi Nachman is taking that pasuk to straight. If you're lacking a basic livelihood, guess what that means? It's very difficult to have time and patience to learn Torah. It's hard. The stress and the pressures, the struggle to make a living. If you don't give a peace of mind to a person necessary to learn Torah, but like with calmness, no pressure, no nothing. I'm going to learn. I'm going to understand it. I'm not even thinking about that next deal, whatever that looks like. Yeah. Now take a look at this. Chapter 6, Likutei Moharan. Guys, we're going to learn something amazing. Amazing, amazing. Do you guys have it in front of you?
Yes.
Good. Chapter 60. Here we go. What page? Which picture? The picture with the money flying.
We gotta put numbers on the page.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Listen to this. This is a deep lesson. It's a long lesson. I just took a snippet for you, but it's so kashma because it goes exactly what we're saying. Da sheyesh shbilei Torah. You have to know that there's different paths of the Torah. Sheyesh bachem hitbonenut gadol meod. That involve a great amount of contemplation, thinking, focusing, concentrating. She'iyeh shar labo leitbonenut hazot ki im al yedei ashirut. And you have to know that deep contemplation can only be attained by means of what? Ashirut, wealth. And he tells you that pasuk that I just said. If there's no bread, there ain't no Torah. And at the very least, one has to have a livelihood. So just to get this contemplation, it's just so great to have this contemplation that you need to learn Torah. A person must have not just wealthy, very, very great wealth. I'm not going to go into the Kabbalistic concepts of Ze'erampin. We could talk about Kabbalah. I'm not even going to go there right now. There's not enough time for a different class at a different time. But just hear me out as we're going through this. She'ihiyelo hon rab. One has to possess a lot, bounty, riches. V'lo tichser kol ba, where absolutely nothing is lacking. Ki tzarich kol hon de alma libonenut hazot. Because this type of contemplation, this deep type of learning, we're not talking about stam learning. I'm talking about like super deep learning in depth that you know it so well, requires kitzari kohon de alma. It requires having all the wealth of the world. We're talking about such a high level. Who had that high level? Moshe Rabbeinu. The greatest man that ever lived, the greatest prophet that ever lived, the closest guy to Hashem. He got the Torah from Hashem. He's the richest guy. Moshe Rabbeinu was the richest person. As an example, we're going to talk about more examples, but you're going to see like, oh yeah, he also, oh my God, he did a lot. Oh yeah, he also had a lot of money. Why? Why did they? Let's go. Look at this. Guys, you ever heard this term of Issachar and Zebulun? Have you heard of this before? It's a very well known, it's a partnership. Issachar is the one who works. You have a partnership with the guy from a kollel, he's learning. The guy from the kollel will learn, I'm going to provide for that kollel guy. You learn for me, you learn in my merit, and I'm going to give you money. That's called Issachar Zebulun. Issachar is the one who has the money, the wealth. Look what Rabbi Nachman says. That the people from the tribe of Issachar, they had this contemplation, they had the money. Then he brings you a pasuk from the book of Divrei Yamin, Chronicles. The people of the tribe of Issachar, they were adept at understanding. Meaning that what? Rashi says that they had the capability of giving proper advice at all times. They were also versed in the principles of astronomy. They knew how to calculate the celestial paths, right? But they were deep in contemplation. They know the Torah's mysteries. They're so immersed. Yeah, they're so immersed in the Torah.
Was Rav Nachman wealthy? What did he?
We'll talk about that. It's a great question. Not simple.
Aren't there tzaddikim that were?
Okay. I want you to hold on to the question because it's exactly what I'm like this. I'm like this. With this. Okay.
Aren't there
It's bothering me too.
Aren't there tzaddikim that were like super close?
Yes, we'll get there. Wait, let's finish it. We're gonna finish the Torah and then we're gonna go there. Okay. Now, lo zachu lazeh. So sorry. So they had this concept of understanding. Lo zachu lazeh ki im al yedei ashirut. So it says here, they merited this understanding by the means of the money that they had, the wealth that they had. It brings you another pasuk from Breshit. Issachar chamor garem. One of the brachas that Yaakov gives Issachar, his son, is that Issachar is going to be a strong-boned donkey. Issachar, Yaakov, is going to be a strong-boned donkey. What does that mean? So Targum Unkelis, which is the Aramaic translation, what does he define? What does that mean? He says, Atid b'nichnasim. Issachar is abounding with possessions. Yaakov is literally telling Issachar, you're going to be a strong-boned donkey. The translation, what it means is, you're going to be full of possessions. It says here that a strong-boned donkey can carry an exceptionally heavy load. And what does that mean? That they took upon themselves a yoke of Torah. They bear on them, like we have to provide for all these for Zebulun, you know? Beautiful. So now with that being said, look at this. Rabbi Nachman continues. That's why Moshe, and all the prophets possess very great wealth. So they have to attain this contemplation through it. And the idea is getting this contemplation, being able to go deep. And since the Torah involves this contemplation, the Torah itself is therefore called riches. The Torah itself is called riches. There's a pasuk from the book of Proverbs that says, riches, hon, gotten through idleness will dwindle, but those gathered by hand will grow, which means what? That if a person is learning Torah with shallow reading, you're going to forget it. This is going the same idea before. But a person who exerts himself and he studies something with deepness and hard and works at it and works at it and works at it, you're going to be able to get a lot of knowledge, fine. But the idea here is that Torah equals riches. The word hon means riches. So that's connect. He's trying to make a connection with that, fine. And then he says, the same is true of those people that the Torah was transmitted through them. They were also really wealthy. Dehainu Moshe Rabbeinu, Shebi Torah Israel. So we know Moshe Rabbeinu got the Torah to the Jewish people. Haya Ashir Gadol, he was very wealthy. Moshe Amru Rabbatinu Zichro Bracha. That's what our sages taught us, that he was super, super wealthy. Then we have Rebbe. Rebbe was one who literally, Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, was the richest guy. He was the one who put together the whole Mishnah. Guys, he put together the Mishnah. It's not something like whatever. He was the one who was able to put it all together. It's like the oral law. It's like everything. He was the wealthiest guy in Israel. It's a big deal. He had everything. He had tree. Yeah, he had like I know he had farms. He had different type of businesses that were, again, that it was an agricultural based kind of a society. Abraham was also very wealthy. That's correct.
Yeah, that's
Online.
What?
We're behind online.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. I gotta have somebody be scrolling through this. Thank you. Okay, I can't. Okay, it's like 5 things happening at the same time. Okay, fine. Now that being said, so we talk about him, and then he also says, "V'chen Rabbi Shedichatam Mishnayot, then Rab Ashi Shaya Chatima Talmud, Rab Ashi, guys, he sealed. Rab Ashi was the one who put together the whole Gemara, the Talmud. He sealed it tomorrow. He put it together. He established it. He was also really wealthy. Think about it. The guy who made the Mishnah, wealthiest. Talmud, wealthiest. Moshe Rabbeinu, wealthiest. Why? שגם כן היו עשירים גדולים מאוד, כמו שאמרו בדינו זכרו ברכה, כי מחמה שתיקנו וסידרו את כל התורה שבעל פה, ועבר דרך ידם התורה, כן היו גם כן עשירים כנ"ל. Because they established and they arranged the whole entire oral law, and through them the Torah was passed on. They were wealthy also. Why? Because in order to achieve this contemplation, in order for you to have the brain space to be able to do these high levels of spirituality, you need to have this concept called great wealth. Guess what that means, guys? Joshua, the time of Joshua, what did I say? Look at their agriculture. Look how much was booming in Israel. They were very wealthy. They all left Egypt with a lot of wealth. Remember? That was part of the whole idea. In order for them to get the revelation from Sinai, they left with a lot of money. Isn't that funny? They battled Sichon and Og, these giants, the Midianites. What happens when you go to battle with them? You take their stuff, more spoils. Yeah? They achieved high levels of spirituality. And with all that physicality, they were able to get deep contemplation of Hashem and the Torah. Isn't that interesting? I find that fascinating.
I thought because it was spiritual, they got the money.
So,
High level.
exactly. Everything you're saying to me, I agree with you. And I want to say that I asked my rabbi, Rav Nosson Maimon, this question. I said, but I don't understand. We know specifically that spirituality is the key to ascension. But so he said, and this is what Rabbi Nachman was saying, is that there's a concept of materialism that is based on making money, but not necessarily all in Torah. And there is this concept of money, but the money has nothing to do, like, I don't care. It's not even like, I don't even care. It's not even about the money. I'm so focused on the Torah. The money just happens to be there. I have a lot of it, but I don't care about it. You see later on the stories of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, who was giving up all his stuff left and right to the people. He could care less. He was fortunate and blessed to have a lot of money. But there's not one iota of like, and like nothing. It was all for Torah. Dude, he put together the Mishnah. That should say enough. You know how difficult that is? It's a lot of work and it's not easy. It takes a lifetime to put these things together. So in order for someone to get to that level, you need to have that amount of money.
Because it affords the bandwidth and able to
have
generate this thing called Mishnah, is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Meaning
afford you the bandwidth to not have to worry about outside influences.
And contemplation to be able to have the headspace the bandwidth to be able to do something that big. I'm not talking about something like what it's that big. It changed Jewish history forever.
Right.
You know? Okay. You know what I thought about a modern version and I was thinking about it? You know who's a modern version of that? In a weird way, is like Art Scroll. Because Art Scroll has really one main family, the Schottenstein family, that changed Judaism forever. They have a lot of, I mean, again, I don't want to compare one to another. I mean, like who in modern day has made such a big influence? But there's many people that have. I'm just thinking like one, you know? Fine.
Can you please say that again, that article, what the name of the family?
Schottenstein. The Schottenstein family.
Sometimes on the not so good side, people use a lot of money.
Exactly the point. And that's the other, that's called, that's that, there's the side of Kedusha and then there's the side of the Klipa. And that's that. And unfortunately that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And that's their test.
Well, a lot of them are Arab Rab.
There are Erev Rav and there are also some not Erev Rav. Yes, you're right.
What is ever-
Erev Rav.
So.
I think it got all closed out.
Another class for another time.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's another animal we have to unwrap.
I thought they got all killed out.
No, Erev Rav is alive and kicking. Big time. Okay. Now with that being said, yeah, I got two people on my team here. They're on the left and the right here. They know what we're talking about. Okay. Now with that being said, take a look at this. Now we're just gonna do one more last segment. What time is it? You allow me 10 minutes? You allow me 10 minutes? We're gonna now go to Kabbalah 101. Classes on Kabbalah, concepts of Kabbalah. Because this is a lot of fun. Take a look, guys. I have this beautiful little awesome spirit chart that I made for you guys. Take a look. Okay, conceptual ideas, because the next time somebody ever tells you, once you start learning Kabbalah, Zohar, Likutei Moharan, anything of Chassidut, really, you're talking about Sfirot all the time. So it almost becomes its own language. You have to just understand it. So we're going to learn something very easy. Again, I'm going to ask the question because I talk about it all the time. Who does not understand the Sfirot chart? Anybody? Okay, raise your hand. You don't understand. Beautiful. Okay. So for I'm sorry, you guys here. Okay, hold on. I want to share it with you guys here on the screen because it's really big schmuck. And really, I worked hard on this fun little piece here. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, they call their chakras. Different chakras.
Yes,
And they took it from us.
of course. Okay, so here we go. Download it. And okay. And by the way, for those people that are going to watch this later, I will put the notes on the WhatsApp group so you guys can have this little beautiful chart that was made. Okay, so take a look at this. Here you go. So here we go. This is what we like to call, as we all know, the Sphera chart, which is like literally everything. What do I mean by everything? I'm going to explain it to, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get this myself. Sorry.
The olive base.
It's like the olive base. I'm so sorry. This is having a lot of technical things. Okay. You know what? For the people that are online, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to just bear with me because unfortunately we're having a lot of issues here. But what I want to say is like this for you guys that are here. I'm going to put it a little close. Maybe you can see it. No, it's blurred. Okay. It's not working out. Okay. So here we go. This is the way that the Shefa, the flow, the bounty, the light from Hashem flows down. It begins because if you don't have this structure, Hashem's light comes in, we can't handle it. You can't handle the truth. Can't handle the light. It's too much. So therefore, God created this concept of the spheres. This is explained by the Arizal and Depth, whose yard site's coming up on Sunday. Hashem. And basically the way it works is like this. Keter, which is the top light, is the crown. This is the highest light possible. The light has to flow down to here, Malchut. You see Malchut? Malchut represents the world that we're living in now. Technically, in the world of light, here is the world that we are in. How does the light get from here to here? Well, it has to go through a filter system. That filter system goes from like a ping pong ball, light goes bing, 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 until it gets down to Malchut. Now, these sphirot also interchangeably play with each other. There's so many different ideas conceptually, Kabbalistically. I'm not going to go through all of them because that's for a different, literally, it's a whole class, which I'm, Bezrat Hashem, I hope to do. We're going to do a really amazing class in the spheres. I'm looking forward to doing that class. It's going to be amazing. Now, what is important about this information that we're talking about right now is like this. Malchut, the Kabbalah, what does Malchut mean? Malchut means kingship. Malchut, right? Melech. It means kingship. This world is the world that we pronounce, that Hashem pronounces himself the king of the world. Malchut, kingship. That's one idea. We also learn, in the Kabbalah talks about how Eretz Israel equals Malchut. Kabbalistic concept. Eretz Israel equals Malchut. The Shekhinah, Hashem's divine female aspect, represents Malchut. These are Kabbalistic ideas. Mouth, Malchut Peh. Your mouth represents Malchut. Okay? So far, so good. Now, why am I saying all this? So let's go back to the text. Can you help me out for 1 second? Trying to see what I can't open this. Can you close this up for me? I'm gonna be working with you guys. I need just to get this thing shared back up on the screen. Okay, so now let's go back to the text. So the Arizal says something very important. It says like this. What do you need? I need to get my Gmail up, and I need to get access to this file so we'll be uploaded on the Zoom for everybody else. It's the last email here, and then we can go. Now, take a look at this, guys. The Arizal says like this. When we serve Hashem, Malchut, over here, this is so key because it's such an important thing. When you serve Hashem, Malchut receives the bounty, the light flows down, and it's distributed everywhere in Malchut. Everybody's going to get the light from Hashem. Everyone can enjoy good health and wealth, and everything's great. But if you don't serve Hashem, the light is fractured. It's not coming in straight. It's not coming in strong, right? What's that going to mean? Some are going to have good health. Some are not going to have good health. Some are going to be wealthy. Some are not going to be wealthy. Even the wicked people are going to get parnasa, and they're going to have a lot of money, and they're going to do bad things with it. Yeah? And the righteous people are going to suffer. Why does that have to happen? Because it all is connected. So if we're serving Hashem, as you can see, I just showed you from the times of Joshua, things are flowing. Everything's awesome. Okay? Now, Israel, when they came into the land of Eretz Israel, right? We had Malchut, God's kingship, in Malchut, in Eretz Israel, all connected. People are praising Hashem. We're listening to Hashem. We're following the Torah. Boom, Malchut's flowing. The light's flowing, bounty's flowing, sustenance flowing. Right? We just spoke about all this on a Kabbalistic level. Now, with that being said, also here's another Kabbalistic concept. Here you have a place over here called Bina. Bina, you see Bina? Chochma, after Keter comes Chochma, which means knowledge, wisdom, Bina, which is understanding, and Da'at, which means knowledge. These are your top three that equals Chabad. Okay? Bina, it's brought down in the Kabbalah that Bina, which represents understanding, profound understanding, and higher consciousness. When we did meditations a couple of weeks ago, and we were ascending, quote unquote, and not kind of like really not being here-ish, we're tapping into Bina. That's the area we're going to. Okay? When we were there, that's called higher consciousness. So the Arizal brings us down. It says when the person eats, you guys are going to Eretz Yisrael, and like now, like in 2 weeks, right? And I could tell this to you because when I was there, I was like literally like, because I know it, so I'm like thinking about it. When you eat from the fruit of the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael equals Malchut. What is the source? So it says here that one of the main places that Malchut gets its love is from where? From Bina. That's what it says in the Kabbalah. I'm giving you very simple understanding. Malchut gets love, gets some of the light. It comes from Bina. Bina means understanding. Malchut represents Eretz Yisrael. Yes? So if I eat a fruit from the land of Eretz Yisrael, what am I tapping into? Say it out loud. Bina. Good answer. 2 points. Bina. Bina is the source for Malchut. If I eat something from Malchut, which represents Eretz Yisrael, I am tapping into Bina. I am tapping into higher understanding. I'm getting more spirituality. Holy cow. So you're telling me that if I'm eating something from Eretz Yisrael, I'm going to have a piece of bread baked from the grain of Eretz Yisrael? Yes. Ah. You just made up for your loss. That was great. For you guys who are looking at the screen, you guys can see here Bina, and it comes down all the way to there. That's one idea. Just one idea. Next, look at the pasuk in Dvarim, guys. Ki Hashem Elokecha meviyecha el eretz. I'll read it to you in English. For your God Hashem is bringing you to a good land, a land with streams and springs and fountains from plain and hill, a land of wheat and barley, vines, figs, pomegranates, land of olive trees, and honey. A land where you're going to eat food without any problems. You're going to lack nothing. A land whose rocks are iron and whose hills you can mine copper. Man, Eretz Yisrael is like the best place on earth, right? And then there's the last pasuk of that whole paragraph. Ve'achalta, ve'savata, u'berakta, et Hashem Elokecha la'aretz hatov asher natalach, which we say in Birkat Hamazon. What does it say? When you have eaten your fill, when you ate from the land, you give thanks to Hashem. You bless Hashem for the good land that He is giving you. Look at just for the people that don't know, I'm just throwing it out there because this is more like a fun educational thing. But look, what are the 7 main species of the land of Eretz Yisrael? Next time in Eretz Yisrael, make an effort to eat from it. We have grapes, you have dates, you have pomegranates, wheat, olives, and which one? Figs. Thank you. That's the figs right there. Eating the fruit of the land of Eretz Yisrael brings a person closer to Hashem, and you can bless them, and you're going to feel more feeling and intensity of your spirituality. But you got to plug in. You got to have that consciousness, that mindset going, I'm eating this. Oh my God, this is like Bina.
Well, Breslover said it's supposed to be that for us.
100%, but even more so on a higher level of Eretz Yisrael's products. And it's literally now what a Kabbalistic idea is like. I'm eating, I'm like, oh my God, I'm tapping into Bina. This is understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like hypothetically, yes. Of course. You're gonna gain more. It's Kedusha. It's Kedusha from the land. I hear you. But you're gonna get Kedusha from the land. Anytime you get anything from the product from the land. Now, the next part I said to you guys is that Malchut, as a Kabbalistic concept, equals mouth. That's from the Tikkunei Zohar. I broke it down to you. Look at this. Malchut equals mouth. There's a pasuk in Ecclesiastes. Ba'asher dever melech shilton. The word of a king is authority. How does a king show his authority? The rule of the king comes in mouth. You do this, you do that. This is the way it's going to be. I speak, and that's what sets the rules. That shows you I'm the king. That's Malchut. That's kingship. Malchut, because its mouth also represents this concept of the power of prayer. The power of prayer. For you guys here, sorry, I will open it back up for you. The power of prayer. I'm back out here again. You want to help me back at the Gmail school? You can do that for me. Now, that being said, the power of prayer, look what Rabbi Nachman says. This is from Likutei Moharan, just one line. Prayer and faith, Emunah, we spoke about last week, and prayer are synonymous with the miracles in the Holy Land. when Malchut, when Eretz Yisrael is in a state of perfection, people acknowledge God in the land of Israel. People know if everybody in Eretz Yisrael goes Hashem, 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 everybody's keeping mitzvahs, everyone's keeping the Torah. What happens? Bounty, miraculous bounty, shefa is flowing like the times of Joshua. We spoke about it. Look what Breslover Rabbah says, Midrash. In the land of Israel, the people could devote time to the study of Torah. But with the Shekhinah Torah continuously revealed, allowing the people to attain greater knowledge of God and increase spirituality. Knowledge of the oral law, the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Midrash, the Kabbalah contribute to the attainment of the higher levels of Torah contemplation. Because the people in Eretz Yisrael were literally all in, bounty was flowing, everything was, all the high levels of understanding were being learned there. Look at the pasuk. I skipped it. I should have said it. This is from Breslover Rabbah. No Torah compares to the Torah of the land of Eretz Yisrael, nor is there any wisdom which compares to the wisdom of the land of Eretz Yisrael. Maybe because of the air. Eretz Yisrael is wisdom. It's chokhmah. Yes. They were the main ones. Look at this puzzle. I was shocked. I never saw this before. Masechet Hagin, the Gemara. Look what it says. Nowadays we know the Mishnah. Something called the 6 orders of the Mishnah. There's 6 main volumes of the Mishnah. So in the Gemara it tells you these are the 6. This was a one, but he goes according to the Talmud. Before the destruction of the second temple, there were 600 orders of the Mishnah. That's a lot of knowledge and data. But after the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, there was only 6. That shows you how much people were like in, and they knew. Listen to this, regarding the prophets. The number of prophets equals high level of data, yes? The number of prophets was twice the number who left Egypt. Just as there were prophets, there was also prophetess, women prophets. Twice the number who left. Meaning there was, in Egypt, there was X amount. They got to Eretz Yisrael, boom, like prophecy exploded. Why? Because you're tapping into the higher level of wisdom. And this is the last Kabbalistic idea, and we're going to finish tonight with this very simple idea. We spoke about Bina. Now, take a look at Chokhmah. Chokhmah means wisdom. Bina was understanding, high levels of understanding. Chokhmah is Bina. Chokhmah and Ketz are very much connected, just so you guys know, very connected. It's the highest or the highest light possible. Look at this puzzle. It's a very famous puzzle.
Where are you?
I am in the last page. Second to the last page here, and then we're pretty much done. Take a look at this. I'll just translate it in English. It's a land which your God Hashem looks after, on which your God Hashem always keeps an eye on from the year's beginning to year's end. Hashem's eyes are always looking at that land. So from the Gemara, from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. It's not like God goes, I'll be right back. He's literally, his eye is on the land. In Kabbalah, eye represents wisdom. Why? Because one's eyes are opened. How they open? The idea of it comes through the concept of understanding. Adam and Chava is what we're talking about before. Adam and Chava, when they were naked in the garden, once they ate from the tree of knowledge, wisdom, chokhmah, when they ate from that tree, they're like, oh, I can see now. I see. Oh, whoa, we're naked? Oh my God, I gotta cover up. Wisdom, knowledge. See. Hashem sees the land.
So
It's a dot.
By being like other dimensions, that they crossed other dimensions. They left the dimension of they were, and they get into other things.
You're saying about Adam and Eve. Possible. I'm not even going into that world right now, but yes. Possible. Absolutely. Of
when you're
course.
saying all of a sudden they can see, you're talking about
They got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. What does that even mean? Another conversation. This is so deep. There's so much to talk about. So that being said, Hashem's eyes which what does eyes mean? Wisdom, yeah, is on the land. The wisdom is permeating in the land from God. And the Kabbalah says, Chochmah is founded Malchut. Malchut's root, the root of Malchut, it's a Kabbalistic concept. It comes from Chochmah. It's the root of Malchut, which means what? If Malchut represents Eretz Yisrael, and we want to know what the root of Eretz Yisrael is, what is it? Wisdom, Chochmah. Why am I saying all this? Let's tie it in beautifully with Rabbi Nahum. Take a look at this because this is so amazing. I just told you, Eretz Yisrael equals massive wisdom. Rabbi Nachman, when he made that trip to Eretz Yisrael, what a sacrifice. We're talking about the massive amount of suffering that he had to go to get there. Look what it says in the book Tzaddik Hayemo Haran. You guys can read it here in front of you. This is Rab Nassan speaking. I heard from someone else that before his journey to the Holy Land, the Rebbe said his reason for wishing to go there, why did he want to go there? To attain higher wisdom. Because there's two levels of wisdom, the higher wisdom and the lower wisdom. Lower wisdom, he already had it. I'm good. But he still needed to attain that higher wisdom. And that's why he was going to the Holy Land. I need to tap into Chochmah. That's why I'm going. He was later heard to say that as soon as this is the funny, I think it's just so funny. He gets to Eretz Yisrael. He walks 4 steps. That's the mitzvah. Make 4 steps. He goes, he was worthy of attaining everything he had wanted in going to the Holy Land. Like I stepped in the Holy Land. It's like data downloaded, upper wisdom, got it.
He wanted to leave.
And he wanted to leave right away. He literally got it, and he's like, "Okay, I'm good." And the guy's like, "Remember that's what I said last week?" And the guy's like, "What do you mean we're good? We just took us forever to get here." He's like, "Okay, fine, we'll stay." You know, that's what it was like. And look what he said. I myself heard from him personally about the tremendous joy he experienced the moment he set foot on that soil of the Holy Land. Everything he had yearned for was fulfilled. All he wanted was that wisdom, that dot from Hashem. That's all he wanted. You guys are about to get it very soon, right?
You know, got it in 4 years.
You guys are overdue. And this is just, again, we're going to talk about, and by the way, I said 2 classes. No, probably 3 or 4 at this point. But here's the last part. It's so sad because it makes me nuts, but it makes me think about today's time. Yehoshua, everything's great, fantastic, parnasa, bounty, understanding, wisdom, Hashem's providence through the world. Everything is great. Yehoshua passes away. God's like, tells the people, be careful. Don't do anything you shouldn't be doing. Yehoshua tells everybody, hey guys, please follow the instructions. All you got to do is learn Torah. Please. No, what happens? He passes away. This is from the book of Yehoshua. Took him later. And the Israelites did what was offensive to God. And what did they worship? They worshiped the Baalim, Baal, which is around today, for those who don't know. And they forsook, they forgot the Hashem, the God of their ancestors who had brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they followed other gods from among the gods of the peoples around them. And they bowed down to them. And they provoked God and forsook God. They worshiped Baal and Ashtoreth. And happened become, because God was angry at Israel, God goes and he handed them over to the foes, to the enemies who literally attacked them, surrendering them to their enemies on all sides. They could no longer hold their own against their enemies. And in all their campaigns, God's hand was against them to their undoing, as God had declared, God has sworn to them, and they were in great distress. When the people obeyed the judges is there's 14 judges. Right after Yehoshua comes to the judges. There's 14 of them. You find that there's some judges, when God gives it to them and they're listening to them and they're serving Hashem, there's peace, everything's cool, they're not straying from the Torah, they're learning Torah. But when start idols, away from Hashem, blah, 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 and war, this war, that. What's happening? Because you're not learning more. I already told you already this. We're gonna what happened during his time, and King David, King Solomon, and Yerushalayim, and we're going to discuss more in detail what's really going on behind the scenes.
Wow.
Thank you.